Unless your children go to an Islamia to learn about Islam and how to read the Quran, they will never be successful. We had just finished saying prayers for the soul of my late grandmother when this cleric looked straight at my father and cursed us. It was a Sunday afternoon, and we were entertaining some Muslim clerics whom we have known for so long they might as well be family. They had come along with another man, also a cleric, but one we didn't know. However, this didn't stop us from welcoming and entertaining him as well. It was the anniversary of my grandmother's passing. She had died a few years before and we missed her. So we made a supplication for our departed soul, reciting Ya Latif a number of times. Now, Ya Latif is a prayer that is based on one of God's 99 names, Al-Latif, which means the most kind, compassionate, and merciful one. And so we pleaded for his mercy on her soul. Now, the thing about reciting for me is that my mind tends to wander, in fact, from reciting or meditating on the verse to thinking of the most mundane things. So while we were reciting Ya Latif that day, I was thinking, did I turn off the stove? I think I want to eat bread and butter. I wonder if we still have butter. On and on it went until I felt one of my siblings tap me with their legs and I snapped back to reality, only to find yet another sibling giving me a funny face like, Ya Latif, Ya Latif. Anyway, as we sat in the living room later, discussing what a sweet, no-nonsense woman my grandmother had been, the new cleric in our midst decided to change the topic of discussion. He looked dramatically from one member of my family to the other before saying to my father, "What a wonderful job you have done raising your children to be upright. However, there is one big comma." Now, when a Nigerian says something has a comma, in that Nigerian way, comma, it means that thing is flawed in such a way that it cancels whatever other positive features it has. We looked at each other in confusion. One big comma in our lives? I'm sure in that moment we were probably all thinking of the little annoyances that we have and consider as faults. For instance, one of my brothers likes to listen to British rap at the highest possible volume, and so the house is constantly vibrating to songs like English girl named Fiona, African girl Adiola. My mom, on the other hand, likes to list in minute detail our family ties with relatives that we barely even know. And so she goes, "You don't remember Mama Kojefo? Let me describe her. Our father was the son-in-law of my grandfather's uncle's cousin." Anyway, the cleric was not referring to any of these faults. He looked at my father, and in the most patronizing tone that people take on before giving the most unsolicited, often terrible advice, he said, "Unless your children go to an Islamia to learn more about Islam and how to read the Quran, they will never be successful." Let me give some context to this story. The 4 clerics, along with my family members, made a total of 11 people in the living room that morning. Yet, only 8 Muslims were present. You see, I come from a religiously diverse background. One of my parents is a practicing Muslim and the other a Christian. Funny enough, both of them were raised by traditionalists who later identified as Muslims. We, their children, were however raised with the consciousness of both religions. And so, growing up, we would accompany one parent to the mosque on Fridays for Jumu'ah prayers. And on Sunday mornings, when we woke up early to prepare for church, we would find that parent performing ablutions and laying out their mat to pray. As we grew older, some of my siblings would choose to identify as Muslims and the rest as Christians. We celebrate all holidays, Eid, Easter, Christmas, New Year. And so for this reason, we are what some people refer to as Chrislams, even Christmas. We know how to conduct ourselves in Christian, Muslim and traditionalist settings. We know to respect everyone's beliefs. We might have different beliefs, but one rule stands in our family, and that is mutual respect of each other's beliefs. We have found a system that works for us, and we keep by it. Our cleric friends knew this, and they respected it. But here was this new guy in our midst, burning with righteous yet misguided zeal, saying the most terrible things. I have met many more people like him who, upon meeting my family, say things like, "You will burn in hell if you don't pay tithe." They claim to admire the unity in my family, but are just as quick to point out one big comma. They see my family as flawed, but I count myself blessed to have been raised in such a background because it has taught me and my siblings tolerance, not just of religious beliefs, but of other people's worldviews and perception of issues. We have come to learn that if your beliefs differ from mine, then that's what they are, different, not wrong. Well, unless they encourage barbaric actions that harm other people. Not wrong, just different. There are many religions today who preach love and peace. Yet, despite that, countless people lose their lives daily, their lives and dreams shattered, cut short, just because some people choose not to see them as people who have a right to choose who or what to believe in. Their killers choose to see only one big comma. There are many problems in the world today, and I think most of it stems from our inability to live and let live. In my opinion, this is our one big comma as humans. If you are so concerned or would really love for someone to share your beliefs, shouldn't you be more concerned about showing them love and kindness instead of shoving down your beliefs down their throats? There is a street in my hometown where a mosque and a shrine sit next to each other. And down the road, there's a Methodist church. And in that town, there are families where each of those buildings has an attendee. Yet, there's hardly news of religious strife. If we want peace to reign, it will not come from having a superiority complex on behalf of our gods. It will come from tolerance.